In this demo, we're going to go over how to take all your design files in Illustrator, how to export them, how to bring them in InDesign, create some templates, and then how to upload and import them into Behance. So to get started, we want to go to Week 7 presentation and download the post-final presentation to Behance. This will have all the files that you need to put together your presentation. The second step we want to do is open our designs in Illustrator and export them as JPEGs. The main reason we want to export as JPEGs is when we copy and paste out of Illustrator into Photoshop or into InDesign, sometimes the text actually defaults, so this is kind of the most efficient way to execute that. So if we hit Document Setup, the one major thing we want to make sure is that our artboards are the same length as our designs. If we export the JPEGs, they'll cut the actual design off. So just to make sure, before you export them, that your artboards are all correct. Then we just want to go over under File, Export, and then we want to make them all JPEGs, and use all artboards, hit Export, and you'll have to set them at RGB, at 10 max size and 300 dpi. After you've exported your designs out of Illustrator, you'll want to find your files that you've downloaded off of Canvas. You should have a file called behancetemps.zip. When you open that file and expand it, you should have two folders to work with. One Behance background temp folder and a Behance temp folder. What I'd like you to do is take all your design files and place them inside that folder, inside the links folder, so you can put all your files in here. The next step is we're going to actually start to work on the Behance background that we'll be putting together. The easiest way to do this is actually to open the PSD files and work with them first, and then what we're going to do is use InDesign to collect everything together. So if I open up imac.psd, and I open up the iphone.psd, what we'll want to do is import both our home page on the full screen iMac and also our home page onto the iPhone as well. So how to do that is in the wallpaper file here. If we double click this, it will open a smart object, and this will allow us to import our JPEG into that file. So if I just do an open, find my home page, open that file, what I want to do is copy and paste it over. So if I do a Command A, select all, Command C to copy, then Command V to paste. Now some of your files may be too big, so what you want to do is actually scale them down. So if you do a Command T in Photoshop, that'll allow you to scale, or any way you're comfortable scaling. And so this will be a crop of your home page, so just try to get the most interesting crop that you can. And once I do that and I hit save, what's really cool about the smart object in Photoshop is it'll update here, so just watch. If I put multiple versions in just so I can test it and I hit save again, it will update it on the fly. So I'll put my version up, hit save, and close that out. And I'll do the same for the iPhone. So I'm just going to open my home skin for the phone, select all, Command A, Command C, copy. If I double click, place your design here, and I open that, I'll do the same thing again. I just paste my design in here, scale it down, Command T. If you hold Shift, it'll scale it proportionally. So you just want to scale the design to fit the best it can. hit a return, save, and what that'll do is it'll update in the iPhone itself. So again, just the test, I can save, and that file will update on the fly every time. Smart objects are really amazing in Photoshop. They help with doing skew and distortion, and then you can just place your flat design file in it. So now I have my two PSDs saved. These will be imported into my designs in InDesign. The next step is we're going to be working with the Behance temps in InDesign. And we're going to get started by opening the Behance background temp. What you should see is a full bleed 725 pixel design. In Behance, they have two ways of putting a presentation together. You have a background graphic that you can make to 725, and you have a foreground graphic that you can make to 600. We're going to be working with both. So we're going to start with the background graphic itself. The first thing you'll want to do is click on the iMac, and we're actually going to import the PSD file that you've already created with your homepage design. So if you do place or Command D, you can select your iMac file PSD, and you're going to open that, and it should update your graphic to your design. And you're going to do the same thing. We're going to click on the iPhone. We're going to hit place. You're going to say iPhone 6 PSD and hit open, and that's going to update both. The really great thing about InDesign is if you update those files during the week while you're trying to update to your final presentation, you can go to the links folder, and if you make any changes to your iMac design or your iPhone, you can simply click iMac or the iPhone, whichever one, and then you can hit update link, and this will update to whatever new design you put in place. Again, that's why InDesign is really great, because if you're updating a bunch of work, it's really easy to relink it. Also within the design, I have a title put in place and also a deck or a description that you can work with. You can type in whatever description you think best discusses your project. Also, you want to create a header graphic that embodies the design that you've created. So in this design, I just took the home page and scaled it up, put some transparency on it, and then overlaid a primary color from the design palette. Again, this is really open to your design. Just make sure that you can read the text over top of it. And again, the yellow and the white can be changed as well. This is also set in Gotham. I highly recommend just setting it in a really basic face like Gotham or Helvetica or whatever one of your primary faces that you used on your design. The next step we want to do is just simply export that file. We're just going to put it in our Behance temps. We're just going to put it in our template folder and leave it as Behance background temp.jpg. Hit save. And we're going to leave it all at high 72 and RGB and just hit export. And then we want to save that file. And that's it for the background. The next step is we're going to work with the Behance temp. What you want to make sure again is under the links that you have all your files for all your pages in there. So when we open it, we have a basic template, and again you can edit this template as you'd like. Just make sure that you look at the white space around everything and give yourself enough variation and scale so that it keeps my interest as I scroll down the page. So all we're going to do is import and scale to fit your designs the best. So if I click on the first one, we're going to be working with the home page. So I just want to again do a Command D, and I'm going to place my home page in there. So some of you may have to scale it to fit appropriately. Again, if you hold Shift and Command and click in the corner, you can actually scale the design to fit the best it can. The next step is you want to import your responsive home page. So we can see that the scale of this is a little too large. So you have a couple options. You can actually scale the box like we did on the previous homepage design, or just like Illustrator, you can scale the image within the set mask. So if I double click it, it'll give us the green box, and there's two ways to scale. You can either use a percentage, so I can go 106 and maybe I go down to 80% and it'll do it universal, and then I can just move the design to fit that way. Or I can click the corner and hold Shift and Command, and Shift and Command will scale it proportionally to fit. So move this up, and you just kind of keep scaling it. Till you get it to fit properly. And pretty much that's what you're going to do for the rest. We're going to import our history. So do Command D. And again, this may need scaled. I would suggest to full bleed the home page to scale and also your history page to scale. To create a little variation in importance, your subpages, which you'll want to come in here and label what the subpage is I'm seeing underneath. So this one will be make it your own. And again, try to change the scale so I have some guides set that will create a variation between the full bleed and a 3/4 image. So again, we're just going to Command D and bring in make it your own. This again has been scaled down to fit. So what you want to do is just keep working with the template, scaling your design to fit the template the best you can, or changing. Different than Illustrator is you can actually expand the boxes to actually crop without having a mask over top of it. So it's one of the really nice features of InDesign is I don't need a clipping mask to actually crop something. So again, I can just simply crop by doing this. So go into your design, make sure things are scaling and importing correctly. And what you want to do is keep going through and adding your images. Now if you have less than what we have on this design, we have 3 major subpages that we've added. Let's say your design actually has only 2 subpages. What you'd want to do is come in and delete those extra pages, and you can see that your template's way too big right now. Right now, if we group everything together, it's only 9,000 tall. But I'm pretty sure our document setup is at 14,000 pixels. So what you want to do is go under File, Document Setup, and let's just make it 9,500. Now I grouped everything ahead of time just in case I need to move it back to where I had my original files. And the last step you want to do is again just export that JPEG and save it. Again, we only have one page. It's going to be high quality at 72 RGB. Okay, our last step is to go to behance.net and log in to your profile, and you should see a simple add work button, and we're just going to walk through the process of uploading our project. So I'm going to click add work, add a project. We're going to skip the upload files, and the first thing we're going to do is go to background, click upload image. Now in our Behance temps, we have the temp folder with all of our big foreground image. In our Behance background temp, we have the background image. So we're going to go with the background image first. And we're going to turn off the repeat and tile and click the upper left corner and hit save. Now we've imported our Behance background. Our next step is to import our foreground image, where we're going to add text and actually hit a bunch of returns to push that graphics placement. The other way you can add images and files is just roll over underneath the previous image or text box. So we're going to hit File, and we want to select our Behance temp JPEG image. And it'll take a second to upload. Now once it's uploaded, now we have our whole layout in place. The final step is, you might have a little too much space in between the images. You just come in and hit delete, push the image back up. So you can preview it, you can save it, and what we're going to do is continue through the setup. So now we're going to upload a thumbnail image. Now this is something you can create on your own, but for right now I'm just going to do a crop of the cover. That'll work just fine. And we'll just call it Pizza Lover and continue. And then you want to put in different fields, so I'm going to click graphic design or interaction design. So you can kind of come through here and pick tags that you think work, project tags that you can make up. So you might type in responsive, and then you'll put a description of the project in. And the last thing you want to do is actually co-own or co-author. So you can share this with the graphic design department by typing in graphic design major, and that should bring up the Ringling graphic design department that you can share with. And then the last thing you want to do is publish, and then that should set up your site. Thank you.